In Book One of Paradise Lost, Satan claimed the mind is its own place and can make itself a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. At the beginning of Book Four, he this backs up on him. Because he sees paradise and he is miserable. He gets out of hell. You can take Lucifer out of hell. You can't take the hell out of Lucifer. He um, from from line 14. He comes to do his revenge. He begins his dire attempt, which neither birth now rolling, boils in his tumultuous breast, and like a devilish engine back recoils upon himself. His revenge is a diabolical device that recoils on himself like the kickback of a cannon. Horror and doubt distract his troubled thoughts, and from the bottom stir the hell within him. For within him hell he brings, and round about him, nor from hell one step no more than from himself can fly by change of place. Now conscience wakes despair that slumbered, wakes the bitter memory of what he was, what is, and what must be worse. Of worse deeds, worse sufferings must ensue. The conscience comes back to his knowledge of what he was, what he is, what he must be, what he's lost, what he's become, what worse will happen to him. He brings hell with him, it's around him, he cannot bring it, he cannot move from it, he brings it wherever it goes, he cannot go further from it because it is him. Sometimes toward Eden, which now in his view lay pleasant, his grieved look he fixes sad, sometimes towards heaven and the full blazing sun, which now sat high in his meridian tower. Then much revolving thus in sighs began. I'm going to skip down a few lines to O sun, line 37. O sun, to tell thee how I hate thy beams, that bring to my remembrance in what state I fell, how glorious once above thy sphere, till pride and worse ambition threw me down, warring in heaven against heaven's matchless king. Line 41. You make me angry, son. This is Satan's psychology. Other things make him miserable because he always judges by comparison with others. Others' happiness makes him miserable, and he's coming to paradise. He's been thrown out of heaven. He sees the sun, which isn't as lovely as heaven was, but it reminds him of heaven, and that makes him miserable. It's a sign of what he's lost. He hates other people being happy because it makes him feel worse. This is a very human, though deeply unhealthy way to look at things. Warring in heaven against heaven's matchless king. And here's this. Ah, wherefore? Wherefore means why. It's not about place, it's about reason. Ah, wherefore? He deserved no such return from me, whom he created what I was in that bright eminence, and with his good upbraided none, nor was his service hard. He didn't deserve that from me. He made me everything I was, nor was his service hard. Satan, who claims he'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven, it's like serving God was not hard. What did serving God mean? You just thanked him, you just praised him. Really, Satan, you had one job. One job. It was easy. Just say thank you. But no. Nor was his service hard. What could be less than to afford him praise? The easiest recompense, and pay him thanks. How do? Yet all his good proved ill in me, and wrought but malice. Lifted up so high, I stained subjection, and thought one step higher would set me highest, and in a moment quit the debt immense of endless gratitude, so burdensome, still paying, still to owe, forgetful what from him I still receive, and understood not that a grateful mind by owing owes not, but still pays at once in debt and discharge. What burden then? He goes through it and explains, like, well, what if he hadn't made me? Again, he has these perverse ways of shifting blame onto God. Like in book one, he'd been like, he should have told us he had the thunder. He tempted us because he didn't show us how strong he was. Here it's like, what if he'd made me a lesser angel? I wouldn't have been so proud. But then saying things, yeah, actually, no, if I'd been a lesser angel, some major angel might have revolted, I would have been sucked along and I'd be in the same place. But he admits that he chose this freely and that he's wrong. So line 70, he speaks to himself. Nay, cursed be thou, since against his thy will chose freely what it now so justly rules. The thou here is Satan talking to himself. Thy will chose freely. He said, I was wrong, I justly punished, and I chose this. If you had doubts, if you've been seduced by Satan in books 1 and 2, here, right out of the horse's mouth, the devil himself is like, yeah, I was lying to all the other, I gotta put a, basically Satan has to front for all the other fallen angels. Here, he's talking by himself about how miserable he is. How miserable? Me miserable. Miserable me. Which way shall I fly? Infinite wrath and infinite despair. Which way I fly is hell. Myself am hell. And in the lowest deep, a lower deep, still threatening to devour me, opens wide, to which the hell I suffer seems a heaven. Oh, then at last relent. Is there no place left for repentance, none for pardon left? None left but by submission, and that word disdain forbids me, and my dread of shame among the spirits beneath, whom I seduced with other promises and other vaunts than to submit. Boasting I could subdue the omnipotent. I me, they little know how dearly I abide that boast so vain, under what torments inwardly I groan, while they adore me on the throne of hell with diadem and scepter high advanced, the lower still I fall only supreme in misery. Such joy ambition finds. I should admit I'm wrong, I should surrender, I should repent, but I can't bear to admit to the other fallen angels that I was just fronting. I boasted I could beat the omnipotent. Satan continues boasting them. He is a fool. Actually, and he goes on for a while. He talks about how he's punished, or he's justly punished. He thinks about why, if I got forgiven, I just screw up again, and God knows it. Thus while he spake, each passion dimmed his face, thrice changed with pale ire, envy, despair, which marred his borrowed visage and betrayed him counterfeit, if any I beheld. Satan has gotten by some of the angel guards by disguising himself as a minor but still pretty angel. He's traded his glory, his grandeur, for attractiveness. He can make himself look attractive, and they'll buy. But here, the sentries spot him because he's soliloquizing, and his face is making these terrible expressions of emotions that the unfallen angels never feel. So they know something's up. The end of book 4, he is in trouble with two minor angels who are on guard duty, Ithuriel and Zephon, and then with Gabriel, an unfallen archangel who's the kind of captain of the guard around Eden. Gabriel, well known from the Bible and the Quran. From page 137, from line 825, 822. The guards are like, which of those rebel spirits adjudged to hell comest thou, escaped thy prison and transformed? Why satst thou like an enemy in wait here watching at the head of these that sleep? They've caught Satan disguised as a toad, whispering into Eve's ear. He's picked on Eve as the more vulnerable, and he's trying to get into her dreams by whispering in the toad shape. The guard angels show up, and they're like, what are you doing? And also, who are you? Hilariously, Satan is offended at not being recognized, because Satan is a celebrity, man. Don't you know who I am? And then this famous line, know ye not? Then says Satan, filled with scorn, know ye not me? Ye knew me once no mate for you, there sitting where ye darest not soar. Not to know me argues yourselves unknown, the lowest of your throng, or if you know, why ask ye in superfluous begin your message, like to end as much in vain? You don't know who I am? Say my name, you know who I am. I was so far above you. I was so far above you. If you don't know who I am, you must be extremely low ranking. Satan's all about hierarchy. But of course, he's lost his place in the hierarchy. He's lost heaven. And one of the guards, Zephon, is like, you don't think you still look like that. Like you don't look like you looked in heaven, man. Like, celebrity, you are a fallen angel. Think not, revolted spirit, thy shape the same, our undiminished brightness to be known as when thou stoodst in heaven upright and pure. That glory then, when thou no more wast good, departed from thee, and thou resemblest now thy sin, and place of doom obscure and foul. But come, for that be sure it shall give account to him who sent us, whose charge is to keep this place inviolable, and thee from harm. So spake the cherub, and his grave rebuke, severe in youthful beauty, added grace invincible. Abashed the devil stood, and felt how awful goodness is, and saw virtue in her shape how lovely, and pined his loss, but chiefly to find here observed his lustre visibly impaired, yet seemed undaunted. Satan's abashed. He's miserable. He's lost his luster, he's lost his looks, because he always judges by the outside and attempts to deny reality by manipulating external signs. The fact that he's lost his looks makes him miserable, and he's stunned by goodness. Is the word awful here does not mean bad, but it means inspiring awe, intimidating. That goodness is intimidating, it's frightening. This minor angel is actually, in his way, stronger than Satan, because as Gabriel will say later, hey, all our strength is lent, not ours. It is given, not innate. So God's not going to give you the victory. But yet seemed undaunted. He's still got a front. Satan will never admit to an audience what he's lost or how he pines or how he repents. If I must contend, said he, best with the best, the send or not the sent, or all at once, more glory will be won or less be lost. The fear, said Zephaniah, will save us try what the least can do, single against the wicked and thence weak. Wicked and thence weak. Satan has lost his power because he has screwed up. There is a complicated thread throughout Paradise Lost on the virtues of experience. There are the unfallen characters who have never suffered pain, who have never done the wrong thing, who have never learned from their mistakes because they have no mistakes to learn from, who have a supernatural wisdom that is given to them as a gift. Satan and then Adam and Eve have learned through experience, and Satan gets in an argument with Gabriel. It's like, hey, you don't understand what pain is like. He makes an argument about why he left. Like, Gabriel's like, why did you leave hell? It's like, why wouldn't I leave hell? Pain. Don't you know what pain is? And Gabriel doesn't. And Satan tries to argue that this is a superior thing. Like, I know something you don't know. I have this knowledge I could only come through by being fallen. And Milton, I think, has it both ways. It is better to be unfallen. Gabriel is superior at this point to Satan in every way. Nothing Satan has learned benefits from him because he's a fool who can't make proper use of it. The greater argument is that Adam and Eve, through falling, becoming merely human like us, flawed and human and morally depraved, are going to learn through sin and suffering a higher wisdom that human beings on our world do learn that way. Gabriel doesn't live there at all. And he's been scolded. Gabriel's been given the high hand by Satan, who's like, you don't know anything, and I'm a leader, and also I'm going to pain. The warlike angel moved disdainfully, half smiling. This is from line about 902. Thus report, oh, loss of one in heaven, to judge of wise, and Satan fell, whom fall overthrew. Yeah, Satan, boy, that we don't have anyone to tell us which one of us are wise. Satan's been like, oh, Gabriel, I thought you were wise. It's like, and Gabriel says, yeah. Too bad we don't have someone to tell us what wisdom is, since we lost Satan, who was overthrown by folly. You didn't get where you are by wisdom, buddy. And now returns him from his prison escape, gravely in doubt whether to hold him wise or not, to ask what boldness brought him hither, unlicensed from his bounds and hell prescribed. So wise he judges to fly from pain, however, and escape his punishment. So judge thou still, presumptuous, till the wrath which thou incurst by flying meet thy flight sevenfold, and scourge that wisdom back to hell. Which taught thee no better, yet no better, that no pain can equal anger infinite provoked. But wherefore thou alone? Well, because I'm the leader. Well, I alone. Okay, Gabriel's like, well, that's not consistent with the other story. If you're ever sucked into Satan's rhetoric, here's at least one character who's not buying it. Gabriel and some of the other unfallen angels will sometimes check Satan and say, you're being ridiculous. The very end of book 4, Satan is actually threatening to fight Gabriel. and the other two angels. And this leads to Gabriel's last speech of the book from line about 1005. Satan, I know thy strength, and thou knowest mine. Neither our own, but given. Like, Gabriel can't be intimidated. Like, let's boast, let's find out. Like, no, you don't have to have a fight to find out who's stronger. You know who's stronger. I know how strong you are. You know how strong I am. You know I will beat you. You know I was pretty much your equal before you fell, and you've been diminished. But also his argument is neither our own, but given. Our strength is not ours, it was given to us and can be taken away. Gabriel subscribes to belief that everything comes from God and therefore can be taken back. What folly then to boast what arms can do, since thine no more than heaven permits, nor mine, though doubled now to trample thee as mire. For proof, look up and read that lot in yon celestial sign, where thou art weighed and shown how light, how weak, if thou resist. You don't believe me? Look, there in the sky. There's a star, an astrological sign that shows how you're going to be destroyed. Because Satan always looks to externals. He's lying to himself, but he sees something that calls him on the lie in the heavens, and he buys it. The fiend looked up and knew his mounted scale aloft no more, but fled murmuring, and with him fled the shades of night.